Hi, everybody. I'm Ian Braid, Managing Director of Docia Sport, and this is another conversation that I've been doing with a series of fantastic, young, talented athletes from the island, all part of the general ambition set by Paul Jones and the team in Isle of Man Sport Aid to be the number one talent pathway and development function in the world by 2029, when the Island Games arguably comes home and comes back to the island. So we can't do this on our own, but what we can do as part of the sport aid community is learn and help each other. And that's the purpose of today's session, where I've got these two fantastic athletes who I'm going to talk to, and we'll talk in general terms, but specifics will be around as they develop their talent and understanding of their sport along their journeys, they will have made alterations to their training programs and will look to understand why and what the benefits of that have been. So without further ado, less of me, more of these talented people. Keira, would you like to introduce yourself first, please?
Yeah, I'm Keira. I'm a swimmer from Onken in the Isle of Man, and I'm currently studying at University of Manchester. And yeah,
What you studying?
I'm studying neuroscience with psychology.
So we don't do that by Monday lunchtime, do we, every week? That's a
No,
lot of ask. And your swim disciplines?
I'm currently doing more distance focus, so 8 and 1500.
And do we think Charlotte Atkinson's plethora of swim records are under threat?
Not right now, but hopefully in the future they might be.
No, we should press pause and re-record this. The answer should be yes, Keira, right?
Okay.
So, Charlotte Atkinson's records, Keira, are they under threat?
Maybe eyeing up the 1500 long course.
Right, we'll all be watching and cheering you on, including Charlotte, I'm sure. So thanks for that. Regan, hi. Who are you, that man?
Hi, I'm Regan. I'm from Port Sodrick, the Isle of Man. I do high jump, long jump. I'm currently in Loughborough studying sports science and coaching.
And that's is that the college or the uni?
That's at the college.
Okay, all right. So again, a bit of a challenge to combine two things, and we'll come back to that. Sticking with you, Regan, what does it mean to you to be Manx and represent the island?
I'd say I'm extremely proud to be Manx. I think it helps. I think Manx grit is real, especially like hard training helps you get through and push through like tough sessions, tough times. Sure.
However they knock us down, we stand up, or whatever the variation on that phrase is, right? Not that you've got three legs. Mine, it could be quite handy for the long jump, but anyway, never mind. Yeah. So it matters, yeah, to you.
Yeah, 100%.
Are you the same, Keira?
Yeah, definitely. I love being Manx, and I think that there's lots of opportunities that you can have from being Manx that you wouldn't necessarily get if you were kind of an athlete of the same standard in the UK.
Give me an example.
Like in terms of Island Games, Commonwealth Games, they're both like international competitions that we can go to as part of an Isle of Man team.
Right. I mean, sports in the Manx wiring, right? The um, so sport sport has been in. You've been involved in sport, not just swimming, but sport since whenever, have you?
Yeah, definitely. Since I was about 4, I think.
The So what sort of sports did you do?
I started like swimming lessons when I was about 4, and then I started cycling racing as well when I was about 4 or 5, I think, and then carried that on till I was about 14, and then decided to focus on the swimming.
Okay. Have you had to go at a number of sports, Regan?
Yeah, when I started playing football when I was about 4 or 5, and then started doing athletics about 7. I played
Okay.
like basketball, swimming, tried literally every sport, and then just came to athletics in the end.
Okay. And Regan, for you, if you don't mind sticking with you, the living on the island and getting better and better at your sport, you have to travel across to train, to compete, and now, to continue your education as well as your sporting development. What do you think? What do you think you've learned from that in, personally and from a sporting point of view?
It definitely makes you more independent because like you have to depend on yourself a lot more, like rely on yourself to be ready, even though you're competing against people who like they're not traveling as far as I am, so they have the advantage on that. But you still have to go and perform regardless.
And just remind the people listening to this what your age is just now.
I'm 17.
Okay. So some big decisions you've had to make, and with the support of your parents as well, I guess. We better give them a shout out, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Been a big help, and yeah, 100%.
But it may be a bit of a bind, but it has taught you lots of things along the way. Yeah, is that fair?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
How about you, Keira?
Yeah, I think I started competing away when I was about 10 for swimming, and like originally you might think it's kind of like a disadvantage having to travel when everyone else is kind of just getting there on the day and being a bit more fresh. But I think in the long run, like when you go to international competitions and everyone has to travel a bit further, then you're already used to that, so it won't affect you as much. So that's kind of helpful.
Yeah, so it's that sort of a bit of like Regan's point about independence. The self-reliance is only you going to sort your kit out on the day, or make sure you get up at the right time, etc., etc. So the yeah, the when did you realize you could be good, Keira? What sort of age was that, and who helped you and encouraged you in that?
I don't know, but definitely my parents, they've always been like really supportive and just wanted me to do whatever I want to do, and they just happy to take me there and support me. My coaches as well at swimming, like when I was younger, there was Lee and Brian and Scylla and Alan. There was loads of them when I was younger, and they always like encourage you in training and give you like support after races as well.
Okay.
And kind of just like there's different levels in Ironman swimming, and then kind of you just progress up through the levels, and then the training gets kind of harder.
You forgive the swimming comparison and the water comparison here, but did you go from feeling a big fish in a small pond into being a small fish in a big pond, as in the bigger talent pool?
When I moved away,
Yeah.
yeah, kind of, because
How do you
obviously
deal with that?
there's a lot more people over here, so there's going to be people that are kind of like a lot of people better than you and just improving you. But when you're training with people like that and just more people, then it's just, I think, more people to race against, and that helps me in training, and it's kind of
That's
more
my girl.
motivating. Yeah, I love it.
What about you, Regan? When did you realize that you could be a good jumper, and how did you feel about moving into England GB talent ID?
I was always curious about it. I just always wanted to learn, and I knew I could get better if I just stuck at it. My parents always said, if you like properly put your mind to anything, you can do whatever you want. So I just always had that in my back of my mind, and then so when I came away and saw there's so many more people over here to compete against, it was more exciting than scary. I couldn't wait to get in and compete against these guys. It's only going to push me on.
Do not, do not, do not agitate a Manx person, right? Bring it on. Pair of you. Okay. Brilliant. Thank you so much. So listen, let's start with you, Regan. So you came across, tell us what your training program was like before you got to Loughborough College, and what are the changes you've made since?
Okay, so before I came here, I trained. It was literally just every day. It was just max effort. Whatever I did, it was just everything flat out. Whether that was running or jumping. And then when I came away over here, I got a new coach. Basically explained that being more consistent rather than every day going 100%. If you're consistent at about 85 to 90%, instead of 7 days a week, more like 6 days a week. Be more. Your body's got time to recover and actually get better, rather than just being tired all the time and your body's fatiguing. Because then you're not going to be ready when a race comes up or competition comes up.
Who was coaching you on the island?
My brother was my coach.
All right. And what's his background?
He's like a middle distance, long distance runner.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was coaching me for running and just got me fit, basically.
So it's that combination that, well, you're doing less but more focused, and I'm not trying to put words in your mouth here, because tell me I'm wrong, but so you know your brother's built your endurance, but actually you're now dealing better with your endurance requirements and topping and tailing that with technique.
Yeah. So it was much more just getting the background of fitness. And then when I came here, there was a lot more like emphasis on technique and trying different techniques, trying to correct certain things that I'd never really thought about when I was over here.
Give me an example. Things you never thought about.
Things like with like takeoff in high jump, like the angle you take off has a big impact in like how much ground clearance you're going to get, which I would never think of till I came here, and then just got a completely different like angle of like how coaches over here see it is just completely different.
So these are that. I mean, you're talking about coaches. So are there specialist coaches you're now working with?
Yeah. So I've got about 2 coaches I work with. Technically, and they work together to try to find the best technique that works for me.
Okay, so very person centric.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, brilliant. So you were 100% max, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Quotes to get fit. Do you still feel fit now, despite the fact you're not doing that? And how did you deal with that sort of psychological challenge of getting over, well, I'm not training 7 days a week anymore?
I think going from doing max effort all the time definitely helped, because then in my head I was like, I used to do 7 days just absolutely killing it. I can now easily do 6 days doing 85% and get better. I can do that. So
Okay.
you just have to trust it. It's just trusting the coach, and then you'll go where you want to go.
Trust and good communication. There's some powerful things, isn't there? And you have some in. Don't worry, Keira. I'm coming to you. You're going to get the grilling in a minute. Your relationship with your coaches. Do you have input in your training as well as them?
Yeah. So there's certain things we've tried, and I've said like, it just doesn't feel right, doesn't feel good to me, and then we'll change it, because ultimately it should feel good.
Okay, give me an example. What was something you did that you changed?
How I used to jump, I used to literally just sprint at the bar and just take off. It's just what I used to feel was comfortable.
Well, I could have done that. I could have done that. Never got as high as you, but I could have, No, brilliant. Okay, stand down for a minute. Don't go away. So, Keira, your man here, Regan, has effectively dropped his training program but become more focused. You've increased your training load, I think. And what were the decisions behind that, and who made them?
Yeah, so kind of when I came to uni, my coach kind of said that he thought that I could do better, or I had more potential in the distance events. So then I was in the distance group, and my meters per week like they went up a lot. They like more than doubled, I think. I was doing about 20k a weekish at home, and now I do about 45 to 50 average. And part of that I think is longer sessions as well. So we do like 2.5 hours every night, and then 2 hours like in the mornings 3 times a week, as well as gym. But the gym stuff is kind of similar as well. But I think that in terms of like the intensity is like kind of similar, because we have hard sessions here, which we did at home, but they're just more meters. But
Okay.
yeah,
How did you adapt to that?
it definitely took a while, I would say, because obviously it's a massive change like to your body to adapt to that. So when I first got here, I was not racing very well, and my times were kind of way off where they should have been and where they had been like previous years. But in the summer, it kind of all came together. And
How did you deal with that? I wasn't training as well as I could have done. How did you deal with that psychologically? Because we're into trust again here, aren't we? That Regan mentioned.
yeah, I mean, my coach was very good, and he said that he wasn't worried and that it's like normal. But obviously, me being like wanting to perform as well as I can, I was still kind of frustrated and annoyed, even though I fully understood like when I came to uni that I wasn't gonna be PBing straight away. I think it was just that I didn't expect to be so far over my PBs. That was what kind of annoyed me a bit. But I have experienced like periods of not PBing for a long time before. And I luckily that I love training, so I'm still gonna go to training and do as well as I can there. And like the times I was doing in training, they were still good, and sometimes it just doesn't always work out that that's how you're going to race, but it does in the end if you're patient enough with it.
How does patience work? That work? You don't have to answer that. And where are your PBs now? Are they in a good place? Are you proud of them?
For the distance events, I've PB'd my PBs short and long course are both from this year, and then for some of the short like middle distance, I'm like back on my PB, so like in and around where I was like a couple of years ago.
Great,
which is good.
How about you, Regan? Are you long and high jump? Are you where you want to be with your PBs? And give us an example of what they look like.
Yeah, I'd say that they're where I want them to be, but they'll definitely keep going up. I'm in a good place. Yeah.
So you changed your training, and your PB before you started in this new program. Your PB in high jump was, and it's now this, and your PB in long jump was that, and it's now this. Just give us some examples.
So when I first came here, my PB in high jump was 197, and now my PB is 213. And then long jump it was 660, and now it's 708. So I've had some big jumps this year.
Top man. Well, I mean, well done both of you. Never mind top man. Well done both of you. Now, so you're doing this, you're beginning to fulfill your talent as athletes, but you're also doing academics, and both are important. Keira, how do you manage your time, and how do you look after Keira in terms of sleep, nutrition, and do what you need to do?
I think planning is the main thing. Like on Sunday, I kind of plan out my whole week and then see what I need to do each day.
Right.
And try and stick to that, because I know roughly how much time I've got. And then doing that also, I think, makes me procrastinate less and just be a bit more productive in the day, because I know that I need to get this done and I've only got X amount of time to do it in.
Okay.
Or I need to go swimming, and I think what motivates me to do it is because I would rather not do it after when I get back. So I want to get it done before.
Yeah. Okay. And what about you? How are you managing your academics and your training, Regan?
I'd say just the schedule's the main thing. As long if you stick to a schedule, and you give yourself enough time to complete things, whether that's work or fit sleep in, like say you need a nap, give yourself enough time for the nap and eating before training. Make sure it's all in the schedule, and then just stick to that. Because as soon as you start missing it, you'll become more lenient to be like, oh, I can miss this, I can miss that, and then you just go on like a downward spiral.
Mm-hmm. Do you have downtime, Regan? When does Regan take care of Regan, and how does he do it?
I just switch my head off for like an hour before bed. Don't think about the sport. Just completely think of anything other than athletics. Whether it's
Music,
football.
read, listen to music, read, anything like that?
Yeah. And literally anything takes my mind away from the sport. Just for an
Okay.
hour. Just keeps me relaxed. It stops me overthinking about things.
And you have a rest day in all of this malarkey, do you?
Yeah. So I have a rest day on a Friday. That day I just try to keep my mind away from the sport. It's hard because obviously it's all you really think about, but you
Yeah.
just keep occupied.
How does Keira look after Keira?
Yeah, similar, like just chill in the evenings, like FaceTime my family or friends, and I'm watching I'm a Celeb at the minute, so that's good.
Really?
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it for a few years, but it's quite good now.
Maybe one day you'll be on it.
I don't think I'd want to do that.
No, I think you're right. Doesn't fit with your nutrition plan, right? Eating whatever. Yeah.
I think I could do that.
Okay, last question for you both. We'll stick with you, Keira, first. You know, what are your ambitions here for you as an athlete, and you know, when you're out of the water, what do you want to, you know, like not what you want to, what do you want to be when you grow up? You know what I mean? When you've graduated in your neuroscience and psychology, where do you think, where will your swimming take you? Where will your academics take you?
Well, I haven't thought too much about what I want to do after uni, but I think probably something in the scientific fields.
In sport, do you think, or
Maybe, yeah, that
okay?
would be because that's what interests me, so that would be good.
Hmm.
And in swimming, I just want to kind of see how far I can go and hopefully go to another Commonwealth Games. That would be good.
So that's Glasgow 26, right?
Yeah.
The and representing the island. So neuroscience and psychology in sport, then Dr. Rich Sill needs to look out then, because you're coming for him. Which is no bad thing, right? And what about you, Regan? You're 17. You're a couple of years behind Keira here. You're doing your course at Loughborough College. Where does your sporting ambition take you, and where it's probably an unfair question about what do you want to do when you finish your academics and all that, but you might have an answer. Where do you want to be as an athlete? Where do you want to be as Regan going forwards?
Sports wise, long term aim to be world champion.
Okay.
On the right at the minute. I just need a few more years of consistency and building up to that. Things like Commonwealth Games.
In athletics, for people who don't know, there's this thing, power of 10, right? Where you find yourself in your rankings against other people. Where do you stand for your age in power of 10?
First for under-20s, and then for seniors, I'm 6th. So
right. So these are realistic ambitions to be world champion. I mean, I guess an Olympic Games must be in there somewhere, must it?
yeah, 100%. Definitely been about training.
I bet you do. And how does Isle of Man Sport Aid help you? Regan first, then I'll finish with you, Keira.
Help like just get going back when I go back home and just speaking to them, just like film them in, saying how I'm getting on. And then they can offer any tips. They helped me a lot with my nutrition in the last 12 months. That was something I struggled with when I came away. They helped massively, like telling me like plans, like cook things, what's easy, what my body needs basically before and after training.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's good to know those guys are always there then, right?
Yeah, it's really good to have them as they're always there if you want to chat about anything.
Yeah. Yeah. And what does Isle Sport Aid mean to you, Keira?
A lot. They helped me from, I think I was quite early age, like 15 maybe, when I was on the academy.
Okay.
And then from there, like working with the gym coaches was really helpful for like developing strength and everything. And then talking to Rich as well for like the psychology side of things. And yeah, and Paul's always there to like offer any advice or just see how you go and checking in on you.
I know it's not that far back, right? But when you were an academy athlete, I mean, you've come a long way in those, whatever that would be, 4 years, 5 years, maybe. What would even now, what would the 19-year-old Keira say to the academy athlete when you were 14, 15?
Probably just
what would the advice be that you give yourself?
just trust the process and don't stress about not performing as well as you want to do now, because you're going to have 10 bad races for every good race that you have.
Good knowledge. What a good advice. What about you, Regan? Was a top tip for any academy athlete coming down the pathway?
Just stick at it. Just keep going and set your goals high. And if you miss them, doesn't really matter. It's the process that's the main thing. Just keep.
And I guess the thing I would add, even from from my perspective, is don't do it on your own. Have some good people around you. And some of that is Isle Sport Aid, clearly, but it needn't just be that. You both had broader support from that, and I think that's important. So, guys, listen. I knew you would be brilliant. You were brilliant. So, thank you so much. And I will share this recording with Paul Jones, and I hope that those that listen to it get a lot out of it. But from Kiera, Regan, and I, thank you very much.